Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is at FeelThePaynePW, or Nick Payne if you prefer, and you're watching my 32nd episode now on my team career here for F1 2020, Season 2 of course. So if you haven't checked out my previous episodes, please go do so now. The last race and the last episode of course was at the Austrian Grand Prix, and it was quite an exciting race to be fair. Where I had quite a intense battle with two drivers, being Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton as well. It just went on and on for at least 20 odd laps. After a safety car sort of split the field up, I was leading most of the way, but then, as you see there, I got a bit of damage, so I could only finish in P2, unfortunately. But still, big load of points in the World Drivers' Championship, and I'm up to second in the World Drivers' Championship with Max Verstappen first and Lewis Hamilton in third as well. So it's a very close battle up at the top, I can say that. As you can see, we go through onto the main sort of starting menu now. We've got obviously the option to fill up a few days of activities, so we are going to do that, filling it up with 3, 3, 2, 1, just to get as much in there as possible to obviously get the most out of all the benefits from actually upgrading through the activities. But as you can see, we've got a chance to upgrade the car slightly, and we're going to do that just so we can get the upgrade in just before Belgium. Obviously the next race is the British Grand Prix, and if we do obviously upgrade it, then as a standard we don't even need to risk it by going at the high risk, try to rush it through. We can literally just put it through and hope for the best, as we can come on through for the British Grand Prix now, and we can see how we get on in qualifying. And as you can see, as we come around the final corners to start our first qualifying lap here at Silverstone at the British Grand Prix, of course, as we go through Abbey at full speed, keeping our foot planted as we go into Village, and brake sort of at the 50-metre board. Make sure you hit the apex to make sure you get a good exit into the loop, but we actually go wide at the loop into the last corner up to the Wellington Straight, and that will lose us quite a bit of time here as we go into Brooklands, turn in round at the 50-metre board. Make sure you hit the apex, try not to go too wide, as I did here into Luffield. Gone wide at Luffield, but it is the fastest sector 1 so far, as it did show up purple as we go up the old start finish straight into Copse Corner, of course, just before Maggots and Beckett's. This is the hardest part of the track for myself. I do sort of struggle here at Maggots and Beckett's, as you can see, having to lift off just slightly, just to make sure we get through the corner safely and nice and sound as we go into the Hangar Straight with DRS, of course, getting as much out of the car as possible. Turn in at the 50-metre board, try to make sure you hit the apex nice and snug as we brake at the 100-metre board into the Club Vale chicane here, round the final corner, and to finish, and what it will be a P7 unfortunately, so not the greatest lap considering we are in the fastest car on the grid. Leclerc does get a lot more out of the car going in P3, so hopefully we could actually revert onto what he's doing and hopefully push up as far as possible. But as you can see, with the medium tyres, I do struggle, and I do actually go slowest on the grid, and when I come back out onto a new pair of softs, I can only go P8, and I do actually drop down into P9. So I do drop to P9, which is through, but as you can see, Leclerc actually qualified on the medium tyres, so not the greatest result for us if we can only get a P9 on softs. We go out on an old pair of softs for our first qualifying lap and do improve on it. We was P9, we do bump up to P5 and in front of our teammate as well, and as you can see, it will end up being a P5 and P6 for Payne Racing. Now let's see if we can turn that result into a good one in the race.
We return once again then to the home of British motorsport and the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone and it's time for the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about the rookie. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Vettel, the rookie, and Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, Ricciardo, and Sergio Perez, Albon, Magnussen, Daniel Kvyat, and Ocon, Gasly, Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Lance Stroll, Russell, Matsushita, De Vries, and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
And as you can see, it's a 1-2 for Mercedes, then a 3-4 for Ferrari, and then a 5-6 for Payne Racing. It's going to be a one-stop strategy today, from the softs to the mediums. Obviously, Leclerc on the reverse strategy of medium to softs. So hopefully, it could be a good result for one of us here, as we go to 5 red lights. And we're underway, and we go straight to overtake, straight to Rich, see if we can get as much power into the car to overtake all the cars in front of us on the mediums. And we've overtaken Lewis Hamilton as well, who's our rival, of course, into the first corner. As we go into Village now, we've got Bottas just in front of us in P1, of course. We're in P2, hoping to make a move here as we go through Aintree. As you can see, Bottas just in front. We put as much overtake into the car as possible with as much ERS with Rich Mix, and we look to make a move, but unfortunately it doesn't look possible until we get round into the corner and we actually make a move into Luffield, and we've actually made the move in Luffield, and now we're up as we go through Woodcott, and we're up into P1 now. What a start from us, going from P5 into P1 as we go through Cops Corner, and I just can't believe what a start that's been for us as we go into Maggots and Beckett's, where we are slow, so we are going to lose quite a bit of time through Maggots and Beckett's, where cars behind us can catch up to us if we're not careful. As we go to Rich Ricks with overtake, put as much in the car as possible, try to break the slipstream if possible as well, as we go into Stowe, as we approach Vale, and we've actually do have a little bit of a gap to Bottas behind us, but at the moment we are in a great position as we started in P5 and we end lap 1 in P1, obviously with the fastest lap on the soft tyres, so hopefully we can use these soft tyres to push away from the Mercedes driver behind us now. And as you can see, as we're approaching Maggots and Beckett's here, we've got Bottas still behind us, who has set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, remember. So we are slow as we go deep into the corner at Chapel there, and that's going to actually put us on the back foot all the way down the Hangar Straight. Thankfully we do have overtake. We actually touch a little bit on the grass there, dipped a toe there, as we go into obviously Stowe, into the Vale Club chicane. Still got Bottas behind us for the time being here on lap 3, but it's not looking great so far as we go through Maggots and Beckett's. We're having to compensate with the power of this engine, and as you can see here on lap 5, our tyres are starting to wear. They're starting to heat completely up on that front left, 105 degrees Celsius on that front left tyre, and that's just allowing Bottas and Vettel all behind us to keep approaching and catching up to us as we go through the loop, approaching Aintree, try to stay away as much as possible. We've got the overtake mode, we've got Rich Ricks, thankfully we've got enough there, but unfortunately it's not looking a good sign at the moment as we come through here on lap 7, and we've still got Bottas behind us we are sort of trying to push a gap, trying to push away from him, and but he's still there. And as you can see, he got a great exit out of left field there as we go round into Stowe, or Copse Corner should I say, and Bottas has actually taken the lead now. River moved down the inside. We had to yield. We had no room to bounce back. He had the nose in. If I'd have cut across, I could have easily been spun there, as we actually get a good sort of exit out of the last corner of Maggots Beckett's into Chapel, and we've got a great leap with DRS, with overtake and Rich. We go right to the outside and cut back across, and we're up into P1 once again now. And as you can see, approaching Maggots Beckett's once again, with Bottas behind, with Vettel behind him, Hamilton behind him, Verstappen in 5th, and we actually slow through Chapel again, and there's yellow flags behind us, and it's because Bottas has hit our back tyre once again. 2 years in the trot here at Silverstone, he's actually hit our tyres, and he's been spun out one way or another, and as we're going to be boxing here on lap 10 now, Bottas is going to be falling down the order after the move at Chapel. We're still in P1 for the time being. Obviously we're going to be dropping down the order due to the pit stop, but at the moment we're still in a net P1. No one's overtaken us, but you do have to feel sorry for Bottas. 2 years on the trot, he tried making a move on us, and he's hit our back tyre and spun out completely. But as we come into the pits, so did Hamilton, so did Carlos Sainz as well, as we come out with a 2.4 pit stop just in front of Hamilton and Sainz there. Hopefully we can push on with these medium tyres. Hopefully they don't fall away just like the last pair of softs did on that first stint, as we come out behind the back markers in the sort of P18 now, obviously with all the cars up ahead. We have Matsushita, who was in last, as we're going to make a move here on Matsushita in the loop into Atri, and that's a lovely move around the outside on the fresh mediums. He's on the old softs, and that's a lovely move to push us up to P17. But we've got Latifi up ahead in the Williams, and Sebastian Vettel and Leclerc goes both fastest. We're going to make a move here with DRS just down the hanger straight. It's going to be a nice and easy move with DRS on the inside, and we're up now into P16, as I believe a few more cars are going to be coming into the pits now. And as we come through into the final quarter here to end lap 12, we're now up into P6, no P5, as Kvyat still also in the pits as well. Bottas is up ahead, who started on the medium tyres of course, but did fall down the order due to the spin. And now him and our teammate in Leclerc are both coming into the pits here on lap 13. So that means that we should be able to push on and push further ahead and hopefully be up into the lead now, unless we've been held up, as Hamilton goes fastest here in this Grand Prix. And Leclerc is actually going to come out side by side with us. He's gone to the hard tyres, and we're going to come out in P3 with Vettel and Verstappen both on the medium tyres still. But they're 20 odd seconds up the road, and it's not looking good for us, as we've got Leclerc right on our tail here. He's looking to make a move here. Can he make a move into turn 1? We give him the space down on the inside. He gives us the space on the outside, and it's fair driving from both parties here. But we are still in the lead, or in front of our teammate for the time being, as we actually slow through the loop there. And we've got Leclerc still behind us, pushing hard. We've got Hamilton behind him, still pushing hard, and Leclerc's going to make a move here down the inside at Brooklands on the Wellington Straight, and he's up into P3. We sail down to P4, but unfortunately it's not going to be the end of the road there. We're going to have to keep fighting back with our partner. We can't just let him get away for the time being, as it's lap 16, one lap later from when obviously Leclerc did make that move. As we go through Maggots and Beckett's, we've got DRS now, and obviously the better tyre, obviously the older tyre, but still the yellow wall is better. With the assistance of DRS and overtake, we are back up into the podium positions in front of our teammate here in Charles Leclerc. But he's going to have a look. He's right on our tail as we go through into club. But we are going to still be in the lead here in this Grand Prix, here on lap 17 now, as we go fastest in the Grand Prix. But Leclerc is actually going to try and make another move down into Abbey. It's not going to work out. He's still behind us as we go rough over the grass there. Hamilton is right on our tail, as well as Leclerc, as he tries making a move into Village, into the loop. It's not going to work for the Monaco driver, as we're still in front. We've still got Verstappen right up ahead. Us fighting behind hasn't done us well, as it's currently a 1-2 for Ferrari at the moment, with Leclerc and myself in P3 and P4 respectively. But as we go through into Luffield, it's still P3 for the time being. But as we come through here on lap 18, still in P3. But unfortunately, it's not looking good still. Our tyres are starting to slightly wear off, as Esteban Ocon is out of this Grand Prix now, as we're still trying to struggle through back to Beckett's as quickly as we can. But Leclerc is on our tail, pushing as hard as he can on those hards. We're using as little overtake as possible to save the ERS. But unfortunately, we're having to constantly use it down these straights to compensate. And we actually go wide. And we've actually given Leclerc a massive gap down on the inside of Club. And now he's up 2 places. And Hamilton is up as well, as he follows Leclerc through. And Sainz is going to make a move down at Abbey. He's gone down the inside. We've gone down the outside. Thankfully, we had the grip round on the outside. Both our tyres are the same laps old. Hamilton must have taken care of them a lot better, as we come across round the couple of the last corners, and we're going to be in P5 as Max Verstappen has won this Grand Prix. Leclerc has held on to the podium, so it is a podium for Payne Racing, but unfortunately we can only stay where we qualified.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again. Let's have a quick
So obviously it is a 1-2 for Ferrari, with V&V, with Verstappen on top, Vettel in second, Leclerc obviously in the Payne Racing, getting P3, so there is a podium for Payne Racing. But unfortunately not the greatest result, considering we couldn't actually improve on our position, but not the worst. Obviously we stayed exactly where we are, so we still obviously P5, so still 10 points. And we are still in second, so Hamilton has closed the gap on us, but not by much, and Verstappen's just pushing away. But obviously still a good result. We're still P2, and we are up into P3 in the Drivers' Championship, knocking Red Bull down. So hopefully if you have enjoyed this episode, please like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I've been at FeelThePaynePW. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.